Hello everyone, my name is Chessy and today I will be building my first keeb ever. I want to say thank you to Drop for kindly sending me the parts for today's build and making the first keeb build happen for me. I wanted to do something different for my first build and that's why I chose the planck. I was not paid to say anything for this video, and so this is my honest review about my first time building and using a planck. The planck is a 40% ortholinear keyboard. We'll go more into the specs of this keyboard later on as well. Along with the planck, I was also sent these cute switches which are gateron keyfirst screens. I've barely seen anyone talk about this online, so I wanted to try them out for myself, especially since they were so cute and matched my room's colors too. I also chose the acute keycap set that came along with the planck since I wanted to have a dedicated ortho set for this keeb, and I also like the green accents as well. First things first, I unboxed the planck. The planck came in this small box with all its parts. Wow! For the case, I went with a high-profile green aluminum case. I chose aluminum since I really like the quality of this case, and with the case it also came with its own wire and stabs, screws, bolts and nuts, and then it also came with its own hot swap PCB and an aluminum plate as well. If you do buy this board, you would need to buy switches and the keycaps for it as well since it doesn't come with its own switches and keycaps. After laying out everything and disinfecting, I was now ready to build. For my first time putting the keyboard together, I went with the loose plate build, so I didn't try out the nuts and bolts just yet and went for the screws. The first step was to insert the stabs into the PCB and to screw the PCB in the case. Placing the stabs were a little bit hard for me since I wasn't used to clip-in stabs, and so I only used one stab for now. After that, it was time to place the 4 switches on the corners of the plate and to secure it to the PCB. I really love the way the switches looked with this case and even wanted to keep it like this for a while since it was so cute, but then it was time to place the keycaps. Personally, even if I chose these keycaps, I'm not the biggest fan since they don't really fit my aesthetic that much because of the gray icons, but I'm glad to have this set because I don't have my own ortho set and it would have been hard for me to find keycaps for this. What the heck? This is so weird. So this is my finished planck build and let's move on to a sound test. So when it came to my typing experience, it was honestly so hard for me since the layout of this keeb was super different from the rest of the keyboards that I've tried, since the layout of the planck was in a grid format unlike our typical keebs which have a staggered layout. For the planck, all the switches are aligned in rows and columns, making the placement of some keys different from the usual layout. Now when I type, I don't use the home rules and don't follow any method of hand placement since I never learned properly, but I feel like if you use that kind of placement, then typing on a planck may be easier for you. But then again, I'm not sure since I don't use the home rules. Yay! Oh my god, let's go! Hi! Yay! Okay, nice. What helped me really learn the planck was doing a lot of monkeytype tests, and eventually I got the hang of the feeling of typing on the planck and can now do my usual 100 WPM on the board. After breaking in the switches a little bit for like 2 days, I decided to lube them since I really liked the switches and wanted to see what they were like lubed. To lube these switches, I bought my lube from Keebzilla here in Cebu, and I just wanted to say that their packaging is super nice and keeps everything secure during transit. Lubing the gateron keyfirst screens was the prettiest lubing experience I've had since the housing and the stem came in its own unique color. Here's a closer look at the different parts of the switch. So we have the green bottom housing, the yellow stem, and the pink top housing. From the top, I would actually say that the switch kind of looks like a banana split, but then I really enjoy the pink and green color of the switch since it matches the vibe of my setup as well. While lubing, I watched a K-drama with friends and just had a fun time overall. Now it's time to put everything back together, and for this time, I wanted to go with a prettier keycap set, so I placed my jelly keycaps on the board, and for this build, I didn't place a stab on the middle anymore, but on the left side, since I used my left thumb for the spacebar. And I found that it made me even faster during monkeytype tests since I wasn't reaching too far anymore. Let's move on to a sound test. Personally, I feel like these are the smoothest switches that I've ever tried, but then I also have not tried a lot of switches. But I feel like the switches really take so well to the lube and are super smooth and are less scratchy than how it was stock. I really enjoyed typing with this keyboard and learning how to type on it because it also gave me a unique typing experience and a great start to different 40% keyboards. In the future, I would actually like to learn the QMK firmware and set the different keys to specific actions, so if anyone has tips for me, please leave them down in the comments since it would help me a lot. For now, I feel like this keyboard is great for when you're on the move and just want a small keep to bring with you or even to use for games. Currently, I'm using this keyboard for Stardew Valley since it has all the keys you really need to play and just love the thought of having a special keep just for Stardew Valley. Thank you again to Drop for sending me this keyboard and for making my first keyboard build happen for me. If you have any more questions about the planck or the switches, please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. For now, I will leave you with one last sound test and most importantly, happy typing everyone.